this is totally incorrect, and this will get him rejected in just 3 seconds if I was going to look at this resume. And all that references thing, it doesn't need, I mean, references will be furnished on demand. Who cares about it? You have to prove your worth in an interview.
So better to write it in the bullet style, bullet form, so that recruiter can straight come to the main information rather than reading a full sentences to get to know that what have you actually achieved or developed the things.
Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Suleiman, and today we are going to take a deep dive so that you understand how recruiters actually process your resumes, how they do their 10 seconds review of your resume, and based on that, will they call you or not? We are going to check it out. With me is Mr. Bilal. He is an HR manager for a software engineering firm in Pakistan, and over his career, he has actually gone through thousands of resumes with myself as a founder and him as an HR manager, and we have processed virtually a lot of resumes for a lot of jobs together, and we have hired a lot of engineers. So first thing first, so the format of the video is that Bilal is going to share with us a job description for an intern. Obviously, this is for a position where a fresh graduate, he is in his 8th semester, or he's doing his final year project, or he just finished that one and he's now starting to look for the opportunities around. Thank you, Bilal, for joining us today, and welcome to our channel. Let's jump straight to it. So what was the job? Maybe you can share your screen and then we can take it forward.
All right. Okay. Just a second. Is it visible?
Absolutely.
All right. So this is a job posted on the indeed.com, and it is related to a Flutter intern position. And here you can see a job description.
So it looks like you're looking for a Flutter intern. He should be good in Dart, and he should also be able to translate the UI UX mockups into clean and efficient Flutter code. Looking for someone with good object-oriented programming skills, and bonus points if you have any sort of portfolio. That's what I think from it. And your job requires, and this job is a full-time internship, and you are requiring at least a bachelor's degree.
Yes, of course.
So what was the first resume that you got?
All right. So this is the first one. If you look at this resume, you will feel like it is a designer kind of resume. So even if he is applying for a designer job, I would recommend it somehow. But for the software developer role, it is not recommended at all. So here are the few mistakes he has done in his resume. First of all, this is the address thing. Do not mention a full address like street or house number. Nobody cares. So just a Sialkot, Pakistan would be enough. All right.
And Pakistan has a typo.
Yeah, obviously.
Interesting. Okay.
And also, if you see the objective here, to seek an employment in a positive position that I will be suited for, and to be a part of an organization where hard work will be rewarded and career advancement will always be possibility. So what is the objective? What is your objective in that? Only to get an employment? You need to mention it, how you will be beneficial for the company and how you will excel in your field. So these are the words you should write. So these are the obvious things most of the guys are writing nowadays using ChatGPT and Bard sort of things. So it is not good.
And on my perspective, you don't need to tell your objective. Your objective, you're applying for a job, that's your objective. So it's already very clear.
Yeah.
You're applying for a Flutter intern, that's your objective, right? If the recruiter or the interviewer would like to know what are your goals for a year, 2 or 5 years, they'll ask it in an interview, most probably. So just don't need to use ChatGPT skills over here.
All right. So coming towards the qualification section, again, the same mistake. These things should not be here in the C resume. So it will save lots of space if you remove these things. So in the next section, personal information. There is no need to write personal information at all because nobody want to know.
if you are a male or not.
Yes, if you're male or not, and if you're single or not, and what is your CNIC, what is your nationality, what is your religion, nobody cares about that. So this section should be removed. The next section, languages section. Do not put bars or the rating type of things in any of section, in either it is in the skill section or languages section or your project sections. So it creates lots of doubt in the recruiter minds.
I'll tell you a story on it. Since we work for a software engineering company and we have to interact with our clients often, sometimes we share a resume where the candidate actually marked himself as an intermediate in some technology. Customer immediately said to me, I'm looking for experts. I don't need intermediate or average people, because everyone expects that you excel in that, in the field or in the area where you are targeting, right? No one would like to know that, oh, you know something and maybe you can do, obviously you have an aptitude and attitude to learn, but mentioning these, giving yourself rating 3 out of 5 or 7 out of 10, and in the interview if they give you an evaluation you may not be able to do it, so I mean, one way or the other, try to mention the stuff that you are very professional and that you have solid experience and practice in your resume only. Do not write the stuff, and you don't need to mention that you also speak Urdu or Punjabi. you know
Obviously.
if you're working in a country that speaks English mostly and speaks Urdu, that would be the two languages that you will be speaking. In the my skill section, this position was for a Flutter intern, and he is telling that he has good skills in MS Excel or InPage, or he has introduction to XML or Java and HTML. This is totally incorrect, and this will get him rejected in just 3 seconds if I was going to look at this resume. And all that references thing, it doesn't need, I mean, references will be furnished on demand. Who cares about it? You have to prove your worth in an interview, or in a official, or in a professional setting, in some organization where you give your best and you drive the results for them.
Yes. So coming towards the experience section, as you can see that he has mentioned three experiences of a computer operator. So this is the job of a Flutter intern. So if you do not have a relevant experience of that field, do not mention it.
Right, absolutely. I mean, you don't need to tell that you worked as an operator, now you want to be an engineer. You can be an engineer. Just don't mention that experience. That's a good.
As a recruiter, what I will do with this computer operator thing? There is nothing to do with.
It won't get yourself impressed. In other
Yeah.
words, the recruiter will not be impressed with this. Okay, great. Thank you, Bilal, for this one. Let's take another resume.
All right. So this is the next resume, and here this resume is almost perfect kind of resume. It has a bit of mistakes as well, but if you look at the formatting and the sections he has mentioned, it is almost perfect. And also you can see this is a one-page resume, which is a preferable. So in the header section, he has written his email address and the proper home address, like only a city, mentioned city. Also putting a LinkedIn profile and GitHub profile, which is very good. And also these are the clickables.
So it means that when you are applying for the in the digital formats, mostly you're applying over the internet on some job portals like Indeed or Rosie or some other career jobs. Try to add those links into those PDFs of your resume, so that actually so that a recruiter can actually click on them, and then he can take it further. He would immediately see, oh, you're good on LinkedIn, you have a good, nice professional, and they can also evaluate your what sort of content you create on LinkedIn to see if you have a good interest in technology. And looking at this one further, what do you see? How is he mentioning his projects?
In the project sections, he has done, he has written all the things in the paragraph style. So better to write it in the bullet style, bullet form, so that recruiter can straight come to the main information rather than reading a full sentences to get to know that what have you actually achieved or developed the things. So this is the main thing. And also in the education section, here you can see this is a typing error. Someone has started in August 2020 of his graduation and ended in June 2020. So this is a typing error.
That's why we mentioned that you should proofread like a pro. You should read it one, two, three times and then also share it with your peers so that they can also review it and they can also give you some practical tips. One thing I would like to mention in the project section that you do not have to tell every feature that you developed in that project. Just tell the crux or the best thing that you did or what sort of problem that you have solved there. That should be good enough.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, and he mentioning some certificates around, which is good.
Yes, which is good. And also, one thing he has done good, that he has done an internship in web development and he has written in at the last. So this is the best thing he has done, because some of the guys, if you have experience in certain field, they put right up there because he is applying for a Flutter job. So that is why it is the web development is irrelevant to the Flutter thing. So that is why he has mentioned at the bottom. So it is a very good approach.
So it looks like a well thought resume where he's
Yes.
presenting himself as a Flutter intern. He's mentioning his projects. He's mentioning that he has some sort of experience in the industry as an intern. So you will take him that he has some sort of good corporate skills and he has worked in a professional setting. So that's a good resume. Okay. Thank you, Bilal, for your time, and I appreciate you taking the time. And we go over these just few resumes. You would have understood on how a recruiter would actually evaluate your resume. How would they find the red flags in your resume, and how you can actually correct them. And so the moral of the story is that your resume, if you are looking for a fresh job or for an intern job, it shouldn't be more than a page. You should mention only the tools that you are very pro or you have a good skill, and you do not need to write that I'm very hardworking or I'm very innovative and etc. This sort of stuff, that's sort of a self-praising. You shouldn't do it. You should mention you should only mention your highest education, um, or any diplomas or certifications to it. You don't need to type your elementary or primary or secondary school certificates, that sort of education in your resume. And also, when you explain the sort of projects that you did in a certain technology or for the job for which you are applying, try to mention it in a format that you actually quantify it with numbers, and also you tell what sort of improvements, what sort of impact that your contributions created in it. Maybe you were a solo developer, maybe you solved a crazy problem, or maybe you tried to figure out a problem that someone else was facing and you solved it. And maybe and maybe if you are lucky, the way on how you explain one single project in a good way, that can be your key. A recruiter would most likely, if you elaborate and justify your one single project with absolute confidence, and if you and ensuring that you have done it yourself and you know the stuff, you are going to crack that interview. So I thank you everyone for your time, and especially thanks to Bilal for your time, and I really appreciate it. I think this was very helpful for our viewers. If you have any comments or if you'd like to know from us what sort of problems that you have on your resumes and you would like to have our expert opinion, please feel free to put it in the comment section of this video, and we'll try to help you out by answering them. And we'll see you in our next video. Bye bye.